Hello and welcome. Today we will quickly go through the solid design principles every developer should know. Solid principles are 5 core principles of object-oriented design and programming. They were first introduced by Robert Martin, also known as Uncle Bob, in his paper in 2000. But the solid acronym was introduced later on by Michael Feathers. This guiding principle's intent is to create understandable, readable, and testable code that many developers can collaboratively work on. A solid design should be aligned in the following principles. The S in solid is single responsibility principle. It says that there should never be more than one reason for a class to change. This is different from refactoring principle that refactors large function into smaller function to do one and only one thing. The second principle is the open-closed principle. Software entities such as class or component should be open for extension but closed for modification. You might see indications that this principle is being violated if we see a series of if statements, checking for things of a particular type. The third one is Liskov substitution principle. Functions that use references to base classes must be able to use objects of derived classes without knowing it. One easy way to spot violations of this principle is to look for explicit casting. If you have to cast an object to some type, you are not using the base class without knowledge of the derived classes. The fourth one is interface segregation principle. Many client-specific interfaces are better than one general-purpose interface. Some code that violates this principle will be easy to identify due to having interfaces with a lot of methods on. This principle complements single responsibility principle, as you may see that an interface with many methods is actually responsible for more than one area of functionality. The last but not the least principle is the dependency inversion principle. It simply states that depend upon abstractions and do not depend upon concretions. While it may be tempting to look for simple cases that violate this, like liberal use of the new keyword instead of using dependency injection or factories, for example, and over familiarity with the collection types like declaring array list variables or parameters instead of list, we should instead look for correct abstractions. Now that you're aware of the solid principles, I hope you could immediately apply them on your design and code. If you want a deep dive on each design principle, get a copy of Uncle Bob's Clean Code book from Amazon. Thanks for watching and happy coding!